All right, guys, thank you very much for always coming back to watch my videos. Today, we are going to be looking at how we can identify a valid change of character and also how we can identify an invalid change of character so that you are not caught in between or inside the structure. Many traders get trapped inside the structure and they make mistakes and they place premature orders. All right, so we are going to look at that on the screen. So watch this video till the end. Like the video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, you are missing out a lot. Consider subscribing today.
Let's say you have an uptrend like this. All right, you're forming higher highs and higher lows and you're moving in that direction. And then you have a formation like this one. You have a formation like this. Okay, now this is in an uptrend. All right, okay, and you're happily buying at every retracement. You are placing your trade and you're making some substantial amount of money. Now this would be a higher high. All right, let's say that it is a higher high. That is also a higher high. That is also a higher high. And that is also a higher high. And we have our higher low. I'll change higher lows to red. Okay, I'll change higher lows to red. That would be a higher low. And that would be a higher low. Okay, and that would be a higher low. And the reason why these higher lows, and we are going to concentrate on the validity of the higher lows because we are looking at change of character, invalid and valid change of characters, okay, and when to place our trades. So you can see this higher low is valid. Why? Because after this higher low, you have that higher high created. Without this higher low would not be valid. All right, so now we have another higher low here. Why is this higher low valid? Why? It's because after this higher low, there is that higher high. And this higher low is valid. Why? Because after this higher low, you have that higher high. All right, now, there is a swing low we see happening. All right, there is this swing low here. Ask yourself, is this a valid higher low? Is this a valid higher low? Does it qualify? This one here, does it qualify to be a higher low? I say no, it does not qualify to be a higher low. The reason is because after this swing low, it created a lower high. Okay, so there is a lower high here. This is a lower high. Okay, this high is lower than this high. That is why we call this high a lower high. So in an uptrend, if you want to determine the valid change of character, you are looking at the swing, a higher low followed by a higher high, and that higher high, from the higher high, the swing low has to break below the swing high, the swing low. Let me explain, guys. So this one is not a valid higher low. Why? Because after this swing low, it created a lower high, not a higher high. All right, so now, why is this important? Because if you are going to consider a change of character, this is what sometimes happens to confuse traders. There is an internal break of structure. Something like this happens, okay? You can see that there's a break of structure inside this range. This is a bullish market, okay? You are looking to buy in this bullish market, right? You are looking at buying in. This is a bullish market, but then you see an internal structure. You see a break of structure to the downside, something like this. All right. Some traders get confused and they quickly begin to consider this as a change of character. So they begin to quickly go to their lower time frames and they are placing sell orders right here. This is a mistake that normally happens. They place their sell orders and this is what they are doing. Okay? So this is what they are doing because now they think this is a valid change of character. They think this is a valid change of character. This is not a valid change of character at all. This break of structure here has not changed the general trajectory of the market. It's still very much bullish. Why is it still very much bullish? Because this higher low, this valid higher low has not been broken below. The price has not broken below this valid higher low. This is the most recent valid higher low. This one here is not valid. This is not valid because after this one, a higher high was not created. Instead, a lower high was created instead of a higher high. So you cannot consider this a valid higher low for this to be a break of structure or a change of character here. Because for a change of character to happen, the price must break below a valid higher low. And this is the valid higher low. This is the valid higher low. Price has not broken here. So as long as the price has not broken below here, this is still very much a bullish market. There is no change of character. No matter what happens here, above here, even if this price gets here and forms another structure and another structure, no matter what happens up here, all right, this market is still very much bullish until it breaks below here. Okay, once the price breaks below here, then we are of course anticipating a return to retest this previous higher low before we can head all the way. This would be a valid change of character. All right, this would be valid. Why? Because the price has broken below a valid higher low. But this was not a valid higher low, this one. Why? Because after this swing low, there was a lower high created instead of a higher high. If this was a higher high, okay, if this created a higher high, then this would be a valid higher low. But that did not happen. Okay, it created a lower high. So this cannot be a valid higher low. That is very important. So this is an invalid higher low. Okay, it's not considered. This one here. This is an invalid higher low. And this would be the valid higher low. This is the most recent valid higher low. Okay, so valid change of character happens when the valid higher low is broken around here. Okay, as you can see here in this illustration, the price breaks below this higher low. It breaks below here. And so you can confidently consider placing your trade, your sell trade after the retest and all the way down. Okay, this is what you would do. All right, because this would be a valid change of character. It means now the sentiment has changed from bullish to bearish now. So this would be now a bearish market below here. But as long as the price action is still above the higher low, it is still very much bullish. Okay, as long as it is still above there, it's still very much bullish above here, above this higher low. So don't be confused by what happens inside here. Okay, don't be confused by the structure inside here. Even if there is a break of structure like what happened here, don't be quick to sell. Okay, don't be quick to sell, because when you sell, because if you quickly sell, what happens is that when you sell here, the price could form higher highs, because this is still a bullish market. That is why I'm saying you don't quickly sell there. You wait for a change of character before you sell, because a change of character will mean that you have better chances of continuing the trend downwards, because a valid change of character has happened. But if the price is still up here and you are selling, the price could return to form higher highs, because it's still a bullish market. It could form higher highs and continue going upward. It could continue form higher highs and continue upward and higher lows. So this is the danger. So if you place your sell, okay, inside here, considering this inside structure as a change of character, then your stop loss would be taken out here, because this market inside here, okay, this market still here, inside here or above this higher low, is still very much a bullish market. Till it breaks below here, okay, it is still a bullish market. So above here, you are still considering to buy, okay, and below here, you are now selling, because it's a change of character. Change of character happens when a higher low is broken, and this is a valid higher low. This is an invalid higher low. So don't sell after this one is broken. There is no change of character here. Okay, so this is an invalid change of character. Invalid change of character. Invalid. That would be an invalid change of character. Don't sell here. So, okay, so that is in a bullish scenario. So in a bearish scenario, you'd have lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. If sometimes this is what happens, it forms higher low, a higher low, like that, okay? It forms a higher low and then breaks an internal structure, okay? So let me show you how this happens. So you have break of structure to the downside. You are selling and you are happily selling. You are making money going down, okay? This is another break of structure here, okay? This is another break of structure right there. All right, so this is clearly in a bearish market. So everything is heading south and it's clearly a bearish market. But then you have, it's a bearish market because you have lower lows. Change that to red. You have another lower low here. You have another lower low here. Okay. You have another lower low right there. Okay. And you have lower highs also. You have a lower high. You have lower highs. And you have a lower high. All these lower highs are valid. The reason why these lower highs are valid, this is a valid lower high. Why? Because after the low, you have low right here. After this lower high, you have a lower low right here. After this lower high, you have a lower low right here. But this one here is not a valid. This is not a valid. This is not a valid. Okay, this is not a valid lower high. Okay, it's invalid. This is an invalid lower high. Why? Because after this swing high, it created a higher low right there. Okay, this is what makes this invalid lower high. For it to be a valid lower high, it must be followed by a lower low. Let's say if this had happened, this would be a valid lower high, but that did not happen. So the only most recent swing high that is a valid lower high is this one here. Okay, this is the only valid lower high. Okay, so this is the valid one. This is an invalid one. Why? Because it created a higher low after it, and there is a break of structure, okay, that confuses some traders, and they are quickly buying when this happens. This is a bearish market, all right, still very much bearish, but you find some traders make this mistake of buying because they think this is a change of character. This is not a change of character. So some of them, they see a break above here and they are quick to place their buys. So now when you place your buy, because you think this is a change of character to the upside, okay, when you place your buy order like that, guess what happens? This is what normally happens. The price returns to form lower lows. It forms a low lower than this one, forms a lower low, okay? And then it retraces before then the smart sellers come into the market, okay? And they would be selling from this point. This is the right this would be the right point to sell at and continue the trend downwards. This would be the right time to when the price forms a lower low, and then after the lower low, you wait for a retracement to, okay? You would wait for the price to form a lower low, okay? And then retrace to retest this previous lower low here, okay? After retesting that point, then you would consider, that is when you would consider now, okay, your sell order right there and place your stop loss just above right there at the appropriate place and consider selling all the way to the downside. This is what you would do, okay? The smart seller would wait for this opportunity for a lower low to be formed, okay, from this point. But now these traders here lost this trade because they thought this is a valid change of character, but this was an invalid change of character, okay? So this sometimes happens and it takes traders out. Now, if you wanted a valid change of character, all right, to happen, you would wait for the price to take out or to break above the valid lower high. This is the valid lower high right here, this level here, okay? So this would be the valid one, the valid change of character. The price would break above here, then you'd wait for a retest before you can consider buying to the upside. So this would be the valid change of character. Then you'd consider your buy order. From after the retest, you'd consider your buy order, place your stop loss just there and target all the way up there, okay? This would be valid, okay? Why? Because it would have broken above the lower high, okay, which is a valid lower high. This was not a valid lower high. Why? Because after this swing high, there was a higher low created, okay, which created this fake breakout here that induced some traders to be buying, thinking this is a valid change of character to the upside, okay? They were too early, okay? They had to wait for a breakout here, break above the lower high, the valid lower high, before they could buy after a retest in lower time frames. So guys, watch out for this. Watch out for what happens here, the inside structure, break of structure, okay? And jumping into buy when it is still an invalid change of character inside. So always wait for this to happen, all right? So I've showed you what constitutes a valid lower high and a valid higher low, Okay, so in this case, in a bearish market, you want to continue the bias as long as you have to continue selling, looking for sell opportunities as long as the price is below this point. Okay, you want to continue selling as long as the price is still inside here, below here.